Okay, so I'm going to show you how to download and install a virtual machine. I'm going to have a couple of links here up at the top of things that you're going to need, and then I'll leave all of these links in the description of this video. Okay, so first thing that you're going to need is a copy of Patterson Eaglesoft. Okay, now two ways to get that. Obviously, if you go to the Patterson Eaglesoft website, you're going to get all of the different versions of Eaglesoft if you go to prior versions. Okay, if you're on the latest and greatest, there will be a link on the main page for that version. Okay, how are you going to find out which version you have? On one of your existing computers, you're going to go Help, and you're going to go About Eaglesoft, and it's going to tell you the version number up here. So in this case, we have 21.00.17, okay? All right. Second thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to be able to download Windows 10, okay? So a couple of ways to do that. First, you would download this Windows 10 installation media, and it will create what's called an ISO, or a file that represents a DVD, okay, so that you can install Windows onto your virtual machine, okay. Um, the other thing, in a lot of senses, you're going to need access to your, in this case, I'm using the Parker office, but you're going to need access to your server, okay. Now, usually what we're going to do is in our X-rays folder, we're going to go ahead and put in all of our installation stuff. So we've already downloaded the media creation tool, and we've also we've gone through and we've created the Windows ISO here. So we won't need to download it again, but I'll show you how to do that. And then again, inside of here is the Eaglesoft setup and the Eaglesoft license. Okay, so some of you might have this already installed in your server, so you don't have to actually download it. It's going to save you some time. So usually I'm going to take this information and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it on the desktop of this PC. Okay, that way I don't have to download it from the websites, and you can see how quickly that's done. And then that also ensures that you're using the same version of Eaglesoft. For example, in this case, they don't have the .17 download available off the website. You would have to basically install onto your server 18.18, and then all of your PC or all of your workstations would upgrade to that 18. Okay. The other thing that you're going to need is your Eaglesoft license. Okay. Again, we save that in the folder, but you can also find it by going to Technical Reference. Okay, and you can see here. And I'll just go here and change when these notifications appear. I always set this to never. Okay. And always allow that app to make changes. So let's go Technical Reference again. Okay, and then if you click here, you can see your license number, but that's exactly what we had here. So you can see that license number matches. So when corporate installs your Eaglesoft, they will usually leave that license file inside of the server PC, inside of X-rays, and then inside of download path. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to download and create the ISO. Okay, so if I go to this Windows 10 media creation, I'll go ahead and download it now. Okay, and you're going to see that it creates it here. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Okay, and it's going to tell you to get a few things ready. So the main thing that we want to understand here is, I'll just kind of go through this even though I'm not going to download it because we've already downloaded it, is that you basically want to do a 64-bit operating system and for Windows 10, okay? So when you do that, you're going to see here, so we're going to, instead of upgrading this PC, we do not want to do that. We want to create an installation media. We'll click on Next. And you see it's already set it to the 64-bit because we have, see, if we uncheck this, this is a 64-bit operating system on this workstation. So we could choose 32-bit. We don't. We just want to use recommended for this. So we'll go 64-bit, and then we'll go ahead and click on Next. And here's where we want to create an ISO file. We'll click on Next. And essentially then it's going to ask us where we want to do that. Usually you're going to want to do it on your desktop just because a lot of times people who are new don't really know where it was saved. So if I click on save, it's going to basically create this exact same media that we've already done. Okay, so you'll wait for that to download. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to download VirtualBox. Now, the reason why we're using VirtualBox instead of Hyper-V, which is what we used to use, is that this allows for dual monitors. Okay, so you're going to see here that we're going to download this Windows host. Okay, and I'll leave the direct link to that so that you can install that. Okay, so once VirtualBox has been downloaded, you're going to go ahead and open it up, and then you're going to click on Next, 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 Yes, Install, and this is actually a pretty quick install. Okay, and we do want to start VirtualBox after it's done. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to click on New. Okay, now the name of this is going to be standardized Remote Virtual 1. Okay, that way we can everyone knows that it's a remote PC, and we're going to call it Virtual 1. Now, because there can be multiple virtual machines across all of your office. Okay, we're going to choose Microsoft Windows, and we're going to use Windows 10 64-bit. So we'll click on Next. Now, this one, we want to change our RAM to 5,000, okay? When we bought our PC, this is 2022, so this is going to get better in the future, but we want at least 16 gigs of RAM. We wanted solid state hard drive, and we want something that is an i7 with as many processors as possible. That allows us to give up some of that to our virtual machines. So we're going to be using 5 gigs out of the 16 available. Again, we're still way in the green, so it's not going to alter the performance of our physical workstation here. Okay, so we'll click on Next. Okay, we're going to create a virtual hard disk now. Create. Okay, and we're going to leave it to the VirtualBox disk image. And we're going to allow this to be dynamically allocated, meaning if we use less hard drive space, it's going to be shrunk. Okay, so we're going to click on Next, and we're going to allow it to be 50 gigabytes, and you can see where they're storing this. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click on Create. Okay, now let's go ahead and change the settings here. Okay, couple of different things that we want to change here. Okay, first of all, on the system, when we go to processor, you can see that we have 8 CPUs. We're going to change this to 2 CPUs. Okay, Windows is going to work a lot faster when we have multiple CPUs. Okay, display, we're going to also go to 2 monitors. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is on network, we need to make sure that we're on a bridged adapter, meaning we're going to use the same IP addresses that this physical server. Okay, so we're going to use a bridged adapter. Super important. Okay, the other thing too is once we go to this 2 CPUs, it's going to be a lot faster there. Okay. Um, on the storage, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach to our Windows media. Okay. So I'm going to click OK, and then we'll go ahead and click on. First thing that we're going to do here is we're going to set this so that we can start this remote virtual very easily. So I'm going to do this right now. So I'm going to create a shortcut on the desktop, okay? And you're going to see this now on this desktop that we have a remote virtual, meaning we could just double click on this and it would start it. But even better, what we're going to do is we're going to enable this to start automatically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Run, and I'll put this command in the description, but we're going to put in shell start up. Okay, it's going to open up this folder. Okay, when we copy this in here, this virtual machine is going to start up every single time that we start up this physical computer. Okay, super helpful for all of the people that are trying to get in here to make sure that they can do that. Okay, so I'm going to click on Start here. Okay, now it's saying I need a startup disk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to path to, and I'm going to add, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to my desktop, and you remember that Windows media that we just created with the download tool, media creation tool. I'm going to put that, and then I'm going to click on choose, and you can see now Windows ISO is our startup disk. So I'm going to click on Start. And you can see now that it's starting up and it's installing Windows essentially. Okay, I'm going to turn off these little notifications. I don't really care. Okay, so we're going to click on Next, Install Now. Okay, now you can be provided some Windows 10 license keys from corporate. So just call up corporate and they will provide you some license keys. Okay, so I'm going to enter that in now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on I accept, and we're going to click on Next. Okay, so here we're just going to go a custom install of Windows. We're just a brand new one, so we don't need to do anything other than that. We'll go ahead and click on Next, and now it's installing Windows. Okay, you might want to fast forward through this part because it's rather lengthy. So I might pause the recording here until Windows is installed, and then I'll go ahead and get started when there's other prompts. Okay, so it's restarting Windows here. It asked if we wanted to press any button to boot from the CD. No, we don't. That would be booting from the installation CD, so we don't want to do that. We just want to let it start up into Windows. I'm recording here. Is it gonna snow? Okay, so again, it's restarting. We're not going to choose to start from the DVD. Okay, so we're going to choose United States, yes. Yes, the US keyboard layout. We want to skip adding a second layout. Okay, so this is important. Let's go ahead and set this up for an organization. Okay, and then we're going to do a domain join instead. So what are we going to call this? Same thing as we did before, remote virtual 1. So the username is going to be the exact same, okay? And then the password, super important to make sure that the caps lock is off. So check that a couple of times. It's hard to reset the password after it's set once. I'm going to go USA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always like to check this. Super important to make sure it's lowercase. Okay. Next. USA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next. Security question 1 of 3. I don't even care. I'm just going to do either one of those, and I'm going to go A. 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 Next. Okay, I'm just going to accept the defaults here. Skip. No. Not now. Okay, so Windows is getting close to being completely installed here. Okay, so now we have Windows installed, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to enable dual monitor here. So what you have to do is go to Devices and insert the Guest Edition CD image. Okay. So once you click on that, when you go to your File Explorer and you go to this PC and you click on this, you need to run this file here. So you'll double click on it, show more details, change when these notifications appear. We kind of already remember how we're going to do this. We're going to click on Never Notify. We're going to click on OK. We're going to click on Yes. We might have to run this again just because we've done that. Okay, so we're just going to click on Next, Next, Install. Let's reboot it later because we're going to actually get a couple of things installed here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do here is let's start without your data, continue without this data, start without your data, confirm and start browsing. Okay, so again, we're going to use that first. Let's go ahead and download Acrobat. Okay, and it should be the one that says Get Acrobat Reader. Okay, and you want to uncheck Install McAfee Security Scan and uncheck Install this one. So once those are unchecked, then you're going to download this, and you're going to see it has this X in here, meaning it doesn't have all that McAfee stuff. So we're going to open the file. We're going to let Adobe start downloading. Okay. Okay, what I did is I'm just making a folder shared between the physical server and the virtual machine. That way I can copy in those Windows files. Okay. Now another thing that I'm going to do is while that's downloading is I'm going to go to Services. Okay. And I'm going to go to Functional Discovery Resources, and I'm going to turn this to Automatic, and I'm going to start it up. When I do that, you're going to see on your physical machine, when you go to Network, there's going to be, it's going to show up here. Okay, so once we restart this, you should see this computer showing up on your list of network computers. Okay, so we'll wait for Adobe to finish downloading here. And then we'll go ahead and let's see if we can start pathing to, okay, to our server. So network discovery is turned off. We want to turn that on. So we'll click here, turn on network discovery, and make the connection a private network. Okay, so there you go. You saw it show up right there. Okay, now that's our old name. That's our old name. Once we restart this computer, Remember when we renamed it? We're going to have renamed it to Remote Virtual. Remote Virtual 1. We'll wait until this installs, and then we'll be able to path back and forth from the server, which is super important. So again, this is the virtual machine. This is our physical machine out here. So instead of pulling Eaglesoft off of the website, we're going to pull it directly off of the server, okay? So in fact, I'll go ahead and do that right now. We're waiting, okay? So if you remember, here's our server. Okay, we're going to make sure we remember our credentials. You're going to get this off of the passwords folder for each office. Okay, looks like it already found the HP. Okay, so there we are. We're going to go to our X-rays folder. We're going to go to our computer installation folder, and we're going to pull over these to our desktop. Okay, so it was already installed. We'll go ahead and click on Finish. And then we're going to close. Okay, so Acrobat is installed. And then we're going to click on, as soon as those Eaglesoft files have been copied over, which they have, we're going to go ahead and restart our computer. Restart now, and you're going to see on the physical server, you see our computer went off. Now it's turning back on. Okay, and you're going to see very shortly here that it's going to show up in our networks. So we're going to click on our password, and you see now that there's 2 monitors that are showing up. That's exactly what we want to see. That's exactly right why we want to go with the VirtualBox, okay? So we'll wait just a second. We'll mostly just work off of this. I'm going to click on refresh. And there's our Remote Virtual 1 showing up, okay? So now that we have Acrobat Reader, we're going to just go ahead and right-click on Eaglesoft, Run as Administrator. Okay. Now, what you can do to kind of help the remote team is to, and Eaglesoft to start, is to go to Input, or View, excuse me, Virtual Screen 1, and just see how big it'll go. So this doesn't allow for that size, so you might want to just keep on going down until you see it. See, now it's able to get larger. That's going to be a big help for your remote team. Okay, so let's go to Virtual Screen 2. It's enabled. If it's not enabled, you can enable it. And I think we were able to go to